Hello guys and welcome back to my game week review series. We're on game week 3 now of the season. We had a weird week last week, let's call it that. That's the easiest way to say it really. And coming into this week, we don't know what's going to happen. We're out early into the season, so it is hard to predict who's going to be doing well. But I'm going to start the video by talking about which players I'm going to be looking at in each game individually, and then going on to talk about which players I'm highlighting for the week that I really want to look at, and then players that I have worries about in my team that I currently have, and then talking about what changes I've made to my team, and going into this game week, what my team is looking like. Start off to say, I do want to say, I am looking at changing the way I do my videos because I have seen better ways of doing it. I just need to figure it out, of recording the screen and recording me at the same time, so the focus is more on the screen of what is here right now. It will be the screen, and then I'll be in the corner talking away, so you can still see my face for those that like to see this pretty face. Starting off with Chelsea Luton, the game that is on tonight. It starts at 8 o'clock, meaning the deadline is at 6:30 tonight. We do have to watch out for that one to make sure, because people might not see on the radar. 6:30 is the deadline tonight. Chelsea versus Luton, the players that I'm looking at tonight. Ben Chilwell, obviously, he's been doing really well, and I want to see if he keeps it up, and if he is worth getting into my team, because Chilwell looks good, Chelsea don't look good. That's my issue right now. If Chelsea start looking good, Luton's a tough game to judge it on, but if Chelsea look really good tonight, then I'll be looking at Chilwell as a better option. Gusto as well, just because he is cheaper at that 4 mil option. Gusto might be the safer option, especially if he gets involved in the play a lot more tonight, and if he definitely is playing, be definitely worth looking at. And for Luton, I want to look at Morris, simply because he did score in the first game. I know it was only a penalty, but if he can get something done tonight and looks good tonight, then he could be a good option for FPL this year. So I think Luton will survive. It's whether how well they're going to survive. Bournemouth versus Spurs. I'm looking at Spurs' defence. I know Maddison's injured, so I can't look at Maddison this week. It is more of a Mickey van der Ven, and just how the defence is performing. If the Spurs clean sheet is something that I can back on, I'm going to be looking at a Spurs clean sheet. And for Bournemouth, I'm looking at Solanke. 2 goal involvement so far this year. Can he keep it up? 6.5 mil. Might be worth squeezing him into my team instead of currently a Jackson or even maybe a Watkins. But I do like Watkins. He also has 2 goal involvements so far this year. United versus Forest, the first 3 o'clock game of the week that I'm going to look at too, and I am going to look at that one first simply because it is United. That's the game that I'm going to be watching at 3 o'clock. That's the game that I can judge the most. The rest of these games I'll be judging off match of the day and the highlights that I can get on YouTube and on TikTok and stuff like that. United versus Forest, I'm looking at Bruno and Rashford. They need to step it up. I don't have them in my team. I've got to avoid them so far. It was a good choice for me to avoid them so far because they've not done much. So if you can keep avoiding them, if they're not doing well, then they're not doing well. I'm not going to go anywhere near them. But if they start to pick up form, then it's going to be one of them that I'm going to have to try and squeeze from my team by breaking down a Salah or something like that. Garnacho, he's only 5 mil and he is in my team. I need to see what he's doing because he's just not looked as good as he did last year right now. It's one of them, if I can get something out of Garnacho for 5 mil, it's worth it. But if I need to swap him out, then one of them, I will swap him out. And I'm going to look at Alvaro Fernandez simply because currently Malacia and Shaw are injured. Alvaro Fernandez might get some game time here. I know we've been linked with selling to Burnley and some Spanish clubs, but if he's going to get game time, it's a good time to do it. Dalot can also play left back, which is another option, and Martinez could also play left back, and then bring in Lindelof to the team. But Alvaro Fernandez could really have a good option for being that left back here and make a bit of a fight for his place in the team. And then for Forest, I'm looking at Ariona because he just looks good. I think he's got 2 goal involvements as well, just like I did with Solanke. Ariona could be a good option to get to the team. Arsenal versus Fulham. I'm keeping my eyes on that big 3 of Martinelli, Saka and Odegaard, seeing what they do. Havertz as well, just because it's one of them. I expected him to do more, but he's just not. Arsenal have played well, but they felt a bit lacklustre when I've been watching them. They're not being as good as they were last year, I wouldn't say. But I feel like they're going to be more consistent this year and stronger, but not as good to watch. I'm also looking at who Arsenal are playing left back. I think it will be Zinchenko, but with Tomiyasu red carded and Timber, sorry, I forgot his name there. Sorry, Timber with the injury. Zinchenko should be coming back into the team, but it was a question of whether he's fit enough to play in full games. It's a question I'll ask. And Fulham, I'm looking at Pereira again, just because I think Pereira is a good option to have in FPL. Especially at 5.5 mil, I think that's still good to have. Brentford versus Palace, I'm obviously keeping my eyes on Mbeumo. 6.7 mil he is now. He keeps on rising and rising and rising because he's one of them. He got priced so under what he should have been. So I'm definitely looking at getting Mbeumo in my team at some point. If he continues on this form, yeah, he can become a penalty merchant, but if he's scoring the penalties, he's scoring the penalties. He can't be too much of a merchant. Visser as well, because he has been scoring and he has been playing up front alongside Mbeumo, and he is very cheap. He's at 6.1 mil, I believe. And Henry at the left back option, simply because me is injured right now. I don't know how long he's going to be injured for. Is it worth me just taking him out and just taking a hit? Because I've had me in for these 2 weeks and he's been injured for both weeks. It's one of them. It feels very stupid to have him in, but I might just jump onto Henry, because if Henry's going to be playing, he's going to be staying fit, then he's even 0.5 more cheaper than me, so it's worth it. And a Eze from Palace, because he is that creative spark in that Palace team. He's the man pulling the strings. He did it in the first game against Sheffield. He was doing it last week. Every time he got on the ball, you felt Palace could get a result against Arsenal. Just didn't help. Just didn't come into fruition. And yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on him in the Brentford game, because I feel like this is a game where he can have more of an influence than he did against Arsenal. Everton versus Wolves. This is the worst game of the game week. This is going to be so boring. It could be the most exciting game of the week now, but I think it's going to be boring. Like, the teams just can't attack. That's the issue with both teams. So yeah, it's 1-1, 0-0, something like that. I'm keeping my eyes on Patterson for Everton, just because if Everton are going to keep clean sheets, I do like Patterson, and he does get forward enough for me to consider him in the team. And then for Wolves, I'm looking at Cunha, just because everything that when I watched Wolves last week, it seemed like Cunha was the one on the ball almost, or Mateus Nunes. But Mateus Nunes has been linked away with a move to City, which has baffled me. But yeah, so I'm looking at Cunha really. Brighton versus West Ham. I've got a lot of players to look at in Brighton versus West Ham. Mainly the Mitoma March, because they're the ones getting the points right now, and I don't have one of them. I have a Dinger, who I'm going to keep my eyes on, but I just thought Dinger would be playing more. Even after that goal in the first week, he looked good against Wolves, but last week De Zerbi was just like, nah, you're not touching the pitch, mate. So hopefully this week Dinger gets some game time and Mitoma or March gets rested a bit. That'll do me a favour. Pedro and Ferguson, I am looking at them as well, simply because who's starting? Like, why is Welbeck starting so much? Like, De Zerbi, just stop it. You have these two amazing strikers and you're still playing Danny Welbeck. Just please, you're a good manager. Do better. And Bowen for West Ham. West Ham just don't excite me. They've got a good defence, so I might look at like an Agard in the defensive options, but he was red carded last week, wasn't he? So not right now, I'm not looking at Agard, should I say. Later on I might look at Agard. That's the way I want to say it. Look at a defensive option for West Ham. Especially if they'd got Maguire, I would have probably looked at the West Ham defence a lot more, but they just... Maguire, idiot man. Yeah, Bowen is what I'm looking at, simply because that's 7 mil. He looks like he can do alright for him. Burnley versus Villa. I'm only looking at one Burnley player, and that is Trafford in net. I want to see if this guy can do as well as he did against City, because if he is doing well at 4.5 mil, get in my team. Over Rob Sanchez, I'll take Trafford if he's playing well. And for Villa, I'm looking at Diaby and Watkins, who have just been on form recently, getting involved in everything that looked good for Villa. Same with Bailey as well. I'll add Bailey to that list of just everything that Villa have been doing. They've been looking good throughout it. And I'm also wanting to look at Zaniolo. He has just joined, and I want to see if he can hit that ground running, because if he does, then he could be a real good option for FPL. Sheffield versus City. I am not looking at a single Sheffield player, I'm not going to lie. Sheffield, maybe look at your defence. If your defence can handle this City attack, I might consider like I'm going to butcher his name. Ahem Dodzic, I think his name is, the defender. He's made the most tackles in the Prem right now, I believe. But yeah, Sheffield, no. I'm looking at Alvarez and Haaland up front, obviously. They're the ones that have been playing every game. Foden as well in that new De Bruyne role, let's call it, because De Bruyne's injured. Foden has a lot more creative like pull now, and hopefully get more involved in more goals. And I'm also looking at Jeremy Doku, because he is rapid, he is so fast, and he could just be that lethal injection like Sane was a few years ago. Doku could be that guy. So if he does play, I want to keep an eye on him and see how he does. And then the big game of the weekend, it's the big one, it's the big hitter, Newcastle versus Liverpool. Liverpool, I've already had two big games so far this year, Newcastle and Chelsea. But yeah, Newcastle coming up. I'm looking at Trippier versus Trent. I want to watch which of the right backs does better, and into that game, I think I'm backing. I don't know who I'm backing out of that. But yeah, Trippier's lost his influence on the team. But not lost it, he still has influence on the team. But he's now sharing that with Tonali a bit, I see. And just a midfield like Bruno and stuff like that are stronger on the ball. So you don't need to rely on putting it out wide to Trippier as much anymore. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Barnes and Isak are ones from Newcastle that I'm also looking at. Simply because Harvey Barnes has been playing really well, and Isak has been playing up front every game, and he just looks good. So if those guys can keep at it, then yeah, I'm looking at one of them. Salah, I want to keep my eye on you. 13 mil I've got on you, mate, and you give me Nish. You give me what, a goal with a missed penalty and an assist. On fraud watch. You're on fraud watch. I already made a TikTok about it. You're on fraud watch. I'm also looking at Diaz and Shabalza, because if those guys are going to be the ones that are getting points as much as Salah is, then I'm going to get one of those guys in over Salah, because they're 6 mil cheaper. It's such a better option to have in the team, and then I can split that money into someone bigger. Like I couldn't even get a Saka in the team, something like that with it. It's one of them. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and if Salah, if you don't pick up, boy, I'm gonna kick you out, mate. I'm gonna kick you out. But yeah, the guys that I'm keeping my eyes on mainly this week are, as I said, Foden, but just because he's in that new role, as like a De Bruyne role, let's call it, under Pep for City, and if he is going to be in getting him assists like De Bruyne does, yeah, Foden getting my team, mate, at 7.5 mil, yeah. And Buemo, I'm keeping my eye on at 6.7 mil. He keeps scoring goals. Mate. You've got to get him a team. I've got to figure out how you're going in there, but you're going to go in there if you just keep on doing this, mate. And Zaniolo, because if he gets that creative spark in the middle of that Villa team, instead of Buendia, because Buendia's out till February, so Zaniolo could be a great signing for this Villa team. And if he keeps at it, then yeah, get in my team. The issues I have with my team now. This is the big one. Issues with my team. I couldn't have an issue with Havertz. You're dog, mate. You're awful. I got him in last minute decision, and I was so wrong to do it. I was just so wrong. I can't say anything more than I was wrong to get Havertz in. My mistake. What can I say? I'm also looking at Jackson, because 2 points, 2 game weeks. Get out of here. 180 minutes played as well, but yellow card in each game. Nah, mate, you're just not cut for this. You're just not cut for it. Salah, as I said, I got an issue with you, mate. That money on you, I could upgrade one of my 5 mil defenders, one of my 5 mil midfielders, still get another Liverpool midfielder in there, and then get someone else in that team just to split that money. But yeah, Salah, fraud, watch. That's what I'm gonna say. And he could be leaving as well. He could be leaving. He's getting linked with Al Ittihad, and if he does leave, I've got some money in the bank that I need to split up there. Garnacho and Adingra, I'm looking at you, mate, because you're both 5 mil, yeah. So I don't mind it too much with your price, but I've got 2 of you. I've got 2 5 midfielders, and they're just not doing the job. Adingra, playing well when he is playing. Didn't play last week. Garnacho just not playing well. It's not getting the points in FPL. It's annoying. And I'm just looking at the knee injury as well. That's another issue that I have with my team. I think I can sit on that knee injury and just wait and see what happens with me, because I like me. Ben me. Then the team for the week. Right onto that, we are Onana against Forest at home. I can see a clean sheet. I can see us getting a clean sheet. And Onana, as I said, is a point magnet. When it comes to making saves, the guy just makes them for fun. So yeah, Onana in the team. In front of him in the defence is Estupinian, Saliba and Torres. 2 of them have home fixtures, and that is Estupinian against West Ham and Saliba against Fulham. Hopefully we get some clean sheets in there, especially with Fulham's attack not looking that good this year. Saliba should get me another clean sheet there. And Torres against Burnley away. That's one of them. I'll have to toss it up, and I just don't know how Burnley attack is going to do. Obviously, the only time we've seen this Burnley attack is against City. So it's one of them. I've got to question it, and I've gone with Torres for now in the team. If I had Ben Mee back, I might have played him against Palace, but no. Torres against Burnley is what we're getting. Foden against Sheffield. I was tempted to captain Foden as a bit of a wild card, but I've not. Salah against Newcastle, not my captain this week. I have gone against it just because against Newcastle, it's a tough game, and we've only getting 2 goal involvements so far this year. I know I've been talking about other players that I've only got 2 goal involvements, and I've liked it, but that's because they're a lot cheaper than Salah. So yeah, Salah, not my captain this week. Martinelli against Fulham at home. Hopefully I can see a bit more for you this week. Last week didn't see much. The week before you got me like 4 or 5 points, so it's alright, but yeah. And I've gone with a Dingra as my 5 mil midfielder getting in that team. Against West Ham, I expect him to get some game time this week. I'm putting my life on it, and if he don't get game time, I'm going to die. Garnacho will come off the bench for him, so it's not too bad, and Garnacho playing against Forest. I could still switch that around, but yeah, I think a Dingra, West Ham, that's the game. Watkins is against Burnley away. I kind of like it. This is a good chance for me to see how, I almost called him Pope then, Trafford is going to do against Watkins, because Watkins is a lethal striker. That's what Watkins can punish him. My captain for the week is Haaland, because I've got him. Everyone else is captain in Haaland, and I can't fall behind. I benefited off last week when I didn't captain Haaland, but I feel like against Sheffield, Haaland's going to kill him. And Vissa against Palace. Nice home game for him. First game in the team. That's my transfers. Vissa and Foden come into the team. I do take a -4. Yeah, is a bit painful, but at the end of the day, I did what needed to be done, just because the Havertz and Jackson were not playing well enough. That is my team for the game week, guys. I'm hoping to get 70 points minimum this week, because I have taken that -4. We'll see on my review how I did on Monday. But thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you.